जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजना। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा। कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। जय विश्वगुरु शील प्रभुपदा। विश्वगुरु शील प्रभुपदा। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। जय मिश्रपाद परमंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस विश्वगुरु ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय मिश्रपाद परमंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की जय। श्री श्री गौरनेता की जय। विश्वगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, Fundamental Principles of Material Nature, verse number 41. Rupa Matrat Vikurvanat Rupa Matrat Vikurvanat Rupa Matrat Vikurvanat Tejasaha Daiva Choditat Tejaso Daiva Choditat Tejaso Daiva Choditat Rasa Matram Abhut Tasmat Rasamatram Abhut Tasmat Rasamatram Abhut Tasmat Ambha Jihva Rasa Graha Ambho Jihva Rasa Graha Ambho Jihva Rasa Graha Rupamatra Vikurvanat Tejaso Daiva Choditat Rasamatram Abhut Tasmat Ambho Jihva Rasa Graha Rupamatra Vikurvanat Tejaso Daiva Choditat Rasamatram Abhut Tasmat Ambho Jihva Rasa Graha
Rupamatra Vikurvanat Tejaso Daiva Choditat Rasamatram Abhut Tasmat Ambo Jivva Rasagraha
Rupamatra Vikurvanat Tejaso Daiva Choditat Rasamatram Abhutasmat Ambo Jihvara Sagraha
Rupamatrad Vikurvana Tejaso Daiva Chodita Rasamatram Abhutasma Ambo Jihvara Sagraha
Rupamatrat, which evolves from the subtle element form. Vikurvanat, undergoing transformation. Tejasaha, from fire. Daiva Choditat, under a superior arrangement. Rasamatram, the subtle element taste. Abhut, became manifested. Tasmat, from that. Ambha, water. Jihva, the sense of taste. Rasagraha, which perceives taste. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. By the interaction of fire and the visual sensation, the subtle element taste evolves under a superior arrangement. From taste, water is produced, and the tongue, which perceives taste, is also manifested. Kindly repeat, by the interaction of fire and the visual sensation, the subtle element taste evolves under a superior arrangement. From taste, water is produced, and the tongue, which perceives taste, is also manifested. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The tongue is described here as the instrument for acquiring knowledge of taste. Because taste is a product of water, there is always saliva on the tongue. I'll read verse 42 also, which doesn't have a purport, but is linked to the current verse. Verse number 42. Kashayo madurastiktaha katvam laiti naikadha Bhautikānām vikārena rasa eko vibhidyate. Translation. Although originally one, taste becomes manifold as astringent, sweet, bitter, pungent, sour and salty due to contact with other substances. Om ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjanashalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. A couple of days back, all over the world, people were taken by surprise. Without any warning, all of a sudden, the president of Venezuela vanished. And after several hours, the news came out that the American army has abducted the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro. And then slowly, one by one, visuals started coming. One video showing how missiles were falling in Venezuelan capital, Caracas. And they say one missile fell on the presidential palace, another fell on the parliament building or something like that, another fell on their military headquarters or somewhere like that. And another visual, several American helicopters flying over Caracas. And they landed, captured Nicolas Maduro, flew out. And then another visual, this Nicolas Maduro is walking with handcuffs along with two Americans within some undisclosed location in America. So overnight, not even overnight, the whole operation took about maybe half an hour. And within half an hour, the president of a country has vanished. And everybody is searching, where is the president? And the first information that comes from Venezuela is, we are not able to trace our president. And then eventually the news broke. American president also made a statement, yes, we have captured him and all that. And then they demanded, is he alive or not? Show us his visuals. Then they released visuals of him walking with the handcuffs and all that. So whole world was taken by shock. And naturally, the people of Venezuela, what they must be going through, what is happening? All of a sudden, we are waking up, our president is not there. Some other countries, some people have come and abducted the president himself and taken away. What to speak of the citizens? Very shocking news. Anyway, these kind of things happen in the world. When we were undergoing education, I remember in school, we used to have different subjects for studying. We used to have mathematics, we used to have physics, all these things. When we graduated to college, same subjects were being taught, but in greater detail. One thing about going to college, the difference between studying in college and studying in school, what I could see was, in college there were practicals also. In school it was just studying theory from the books. When we come to college, we have a lab. You have to go to the laboratory and you have to perform experiments and you have to validate what you have studied in theory. Practical demonstration of how what science is saying is the truth. And we had this different labs. One lab for physics, one lab for biology. Dissecting cockroach, dissecting frog, my God, it was, some of, one of my friends, he was a whole life vegetarian. They made him dissect a frog. He took a knife, pierced the frog, and he fell unconscious. And the teacher also was very understanding. He took him out and he said, "You don't do this, leave it." And, so he was exempt from that. Chemistry, of course, was different. Chemistry lab. Mix different chemicals, observe different reactions. And I remember one thing which is very vivid in my mind is the oxidation reaction using potassium permanganate. There is one liquid which is completely transparent. Potassium permanganate is also transparent. You start, there is a titration apparatus through a pipette. One is, you have a tap and you allow all the drop by drop. You have to be very careful. Drop by drop it has to come. And there will be markings on the tube, so you can measure how much ml has gone into it. Another way, more difficult to us, not everybody would get that one with the tap. Most of us would have to suck it with our mouth. And many times when sucking, you suck too much, the potassium permanganate will go into your mouth. And then you have to hold it with your thumb. Little by little you have to release, so that one drop after drop comes. Sometimes, little release you too much, entire potassium permanganate will go off and you will not be able to figure out what is the result. You will have to redo the whole experiment. So, drop by drop, that potassium permanganate goes on falling into that solution. Once the oxidation reaction is complete, suddenly the color will start changing. And when the color just changes, slight coloration will come into the liquid. Okay, you note down how many ml has gone, and oxidation is complete. And one or two more drops you add for little confirmation. The whole liquid will become a rich violet in color. That, okay, the oxidation is complete, the process is complete. So, when we as students, when we look at the whole titration process, we will be seeing one chemical is falling into another chemical, oxidation is going on, all those chemistry, whatever formulas we learned, all that will be running in our mind. Now there is in the lab, it's not that you just go and do the experiment. There is one professor also, he'll be watching. One teacher will be watching how we are doing the experiment, and we will get lab marks also, whether we have done the experiment properly or not. And we have to go and present the results and all that. And he will come and see how we are doing, whether we are doing properly or not. Now when the professor sees all of us doing the experiment, when we are doing the experiment, we are looking at the whole oxidation process, what is the equation which is happening, all those things are running in our mind. And he is evaluating and giving marks. How is he giving marks? He is not thinking of how the chemicals are mixing. He is seeing this student, whether he is mixing properly or not. That student mixed properly, I'll give him more marks. This student did not mix properly, therefore the results are all gone wrong, so I'll give him less marks. You see, the way the teacher perceives, the way the student who is performing the experiment sees, both are different. One is seeing the actual chemical process going on. Another is seeing the person who is doing that experiment. So there are two ways to look at anything. When we look at this ocean right outside our temple, we see a huge mass of water. Huge mass. When you look at that water, how is the water formed? Two molecules of hydrogen, one molecule of oxygen mixed together, H2O, and that is water. And that is how this is formed. That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is, as it is mentioned in today's verse, Rupamadrat Vikurvana Tejaso Daivachodhitat. By the divine arrangement, by the interaction of fire and form, water is formed. How do we understand this? Actually, now we are in winter season. So weather is very nice. We don't need fans. Very comfortable. But in North India, it's not like that. So much fog, and flights are getting diverted. Flights are getting delayed. Trains are getting delayed. So much road accidents are happening because of so much fog and intense cold. 0 degrees centigrade, 5 degrees centigrade. If you go to Rajasthan, Churu and all, minus 5 degrees centigrade. In Churu, what happens is Rajasthan, because the freezing temperatures, the train will come. When the train comes, you will go to the train and there is that hand wash basin, right? In all trains, hand wash is there. If you go to the hand wash and open the tap, you will not find water coming. There will be one ice stick hanging there. Minus 5 degrees centigrade, no. Water will all freeze. So you will not get water in the tap. There is only ice hanging from there. It's like that. So cold, bitter cold, you can imagine. After a few months, what will happen? Summer will come. And when summer comes, heat. And excessive heat. And excessive heat, when it happens, you will be sweating. In the winter now, bitter cold, you want a sweater, you want gloves, you want socks, you want cap, you want jacket, so many things you want to wear. Summer comes, you are sweating, you want to take off everything. So you see, when heat and form comes together, what happens? Perspiration happens. We all have experience of this. Every summer this happens. Chennai also, a few days later, once it becomes hot, we'll all be sweating like anything. Even we switch on the fan also, still we'll be sweating. Heat and the form come together, there will be perspiration. So this we already have experience. So therefore, by the interaction of fire and visual sensation, Rupa Matra Vikurvana Tejaso. Tejaha, fire, and Rupa, form, they come together. Vikurvana, by their transformation, what happens? Subtle element, Rasamatram Abhut. Subtle element, taste evolves. Now how does the taste evolve? It evolves because of Ambho Jihva Rasagraha. Ambha, water, from taste, water is produced. He is seeing there is a student who is causing that chemical reaction. And he is doing it properly, I'll give him more marks. This student did not come for the lab, he gets 0 marks. So why 0 marks? He will write, the student was absent. He will not write. Potassium permanganate did not oxidize the other chemical. He will not write that. Chemical reaction, he is not bothered about the chemical reaction. He is bothered about the person. So you see, there are 2 ways of perceiving. One is you see the chemical reaction happening or not happening. Similarly, when it comes to water, modern science will look at only the chemical process. 2 molecules of hydrogen and oxygen came together, and that's how water got formed. That also, what modern science also says is, there was some supernova, and that supernova, when it exploded, from that some hydrogen element came, and then there, because of the heavy density and the input of energy was there, and that is how hydrogen and oxygen mixed together and water was formed. Meaning, energy input way of looking at it. Is hydrogen and oxygen mixed together got water. Fine, that is one explanation. It may be correct also. We are not saying no to that. But then the point is, you look at the ocean. Such a huge mass of water. So much amount of hydrogen and oxygen mixed together. Hare Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama ki jai. So much amount of hydrogen and oxygen mixed together and formed this vast water body, all in one location. And not only that, within that water is mixed sodium chloride, salt. That salt mixing with the water keeps the water fresh. It doesn't become stale. And to keep that water fresh and to avoid it becoming stale, there is sodium and chlorine which has come together to form salt, and it has entered that water. So first of all, hydrogen and oxygen have to mix, and they have to mix in such large quantities and mix in one location. Not that somewhere one drop formed, another place, another drop formed. This universe is so vast. If you spread this whole ocean water all over the universe, you'll not even get one drop anywhere. It will get spread over. So all that hydrogen and oxygen had to combine in one location. And over and above that, sodium and chlorine had also to get formed, and they had to combine. And in such tons and tons it has to combine, and it has to come to the same place where the hydrogen and oxygen has mixed together to form water, and then it has to enter and dissolve in that. If you think that all this is happening by chance, really you must be mad. What else can we say? And over and above that, interesting thing is that salt has got a characteristic of being salty. You take the ocean water and put in your mouth, immediately you will feel, oh, this is salty water. So it is taste. Where is the sense of taste coming from? Okay, modern science will say, when the particles touch the tongue, there is some electrical sensation which is formed, etc., and that goes to the brain and gives you an experience of taste. But where is this concept of taste itself coming from? Who decided? Automatically, the electrical signals decided that they will go to the brain and create the sense of salt, and like we are saying, kashayo maduras tiktaha katvam laite naikadha. Taste of astringent, sweet, bitter, pungent, sour and salty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 varieties of taste. So 6 varieties of taste have to come, not just taste alone. So who decided, or how did it happen? The electrical signal decided itself, is it? When I touch salt, I'll give tasty experience. When I touch sugar, I'll give sweet experience. When I touch salt, I'll give salty experience. When I touch chili, I'll give pungent experience. The electrical signal decided itself, is it? By chance it decided, is it? No, Daiva Chodita. There is superior arrangement, divine arrangement. Krishna is behind this. Otherwise, this cannot happen like this. So one way to look at it is hydrogen and oxygen mixed together, formed water. Okay. Sodium and chlorine mixed together, formed salt. Okay. But another way to look at it is how things are mixing together. Who is making it happen? There is a person behind this. So when the Shastras look at things from that perspective, somebody is making it happen. Therefore, they are not so much interested in what is the actual chemical process going on. So you will not find in the Vedas that hydrogen, 2 molecules of hydrogen are mixing with oxygen to form water. They will say, no, Rupamatrad Vikurvana Tejaso Daivachodita. Daivachodita. By Daiva, by Krishna's will, things are happening. This is a different perspective. Venezuelans are not thinking some chemicals got together and there was a Donald Trump, he caused the explosion. Donald Trump is sitting somewhere far away. He is not even pressing the button to release the bomb. But still you are saying, no. Even the person who is pressing the bomb, he is not causing that reaction to happen. Chemical reaction is happening, explosion is happening. He only put it into motion. Daiva Choditat. So you see, to see only some chemical reaction happening and explosion happening in Caracas, that is a very narrow view. When you look at overall picture, America has attacked Venezuela. That's a different picture emerges. You see? And when we say America attacked also, America, it's not an impersonal thing that's happening automatically. The president is sitting there and he is taking a decision. Let us attack and capture Nicolas Maduro. And that is how everything is happening. So, there is President Choditat. From that president's, he is making things happen. It is his will which is manifesting. Although, none of the Venezuelans, they are not seeing that helicopter. Where is this one? Where is Donald Trump? Is he one of those helicopters? No. Is Donald Trump sitting in that presidential palace in Caracas and then mixing the chemicals and making the explosion happen? No. He is sitting somewhere far away in Washington or wherever he is sitting there. But we say he is the person who is causing everything to happen. That is, you have a proper picture of the entire thing, what is happening. If a scientist comes forward and tells, hey, no, it's not Donald Trump, it is not the American army, it is 2 chemicals mixing together which caused the explosion. Correct only. But that's a very narrow view. Two molecules of hydrogen and oxygen mixed together from water. Correct. Very narrow view. You want the full picture? You get it here. Rupa matra vikurvana tejaso daivachodita. Daivachodita. By the will of Krishna. Krishna may not be, Krishna is not sitting personally and bringing two molecules of hydrogen, one molecule of oxygen, capture it, put it together and mix it and water form. No, he doesn't have to do all that. He has to simply will. Daivachodita. Then what will happen? Material nature will start immediately. The moment Krishna wills, everything will start happening. Na tasya karyam karanam uchyate. Na tat samascha vedikascha drishyate. Na tasya karyam karanam vidyate. Parasya shaktir vividaiva shruyate. Swabhaviki jnana balakriyacha. So, Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate. The Lord has innumerable energies, infinite energies. And all of those energies are all powerful to act in the way He wants them to act. Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate. Innumerable energies are there. And what are Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate? Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. Automatically, they are performing all their actions. They have all the required strength, all the required knowledge and all the required ability to perform whatever actions they are supposed to act on according to the will of Krishna. Therefore, na tasya karyam karanam vidyate. He doesn't have to do anything himself. Krishna doesn't have to do anything himself. He doesn't have to come and sit in this universe and mix hydrogen and oxygen. Not required. He is in his abode, Goloka Vrindavan. And Daivachodita, simply by his will, Swabhaviki Jnana Balakriyacha. All the elements are coming together and the whole universe is manifesting. So you see, this is an overall complete picture of how creation is happening. Now the question comes, Bhagavatam is meant for giving us spiritual knowledge. Why is Bhagavatam talking about mixing of Rupa and Tejasa to bring about Rasamatra? Why all this? Why do we need to know all these things? As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mattah sarvam pravartate. Krishna is the source of everything. And everything is emanating from him. All creations are coming from him. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. One line Krishna finished. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate. Krishna said, I am the source of everything. Everything is emanating from me. So how are things emanating from Krishna? How is this whole manifestation coming about by Krishna? That is being described by the Srimad Bhagavatam. How the whole thing is happening. So when as devotees, when we hear how these things are happening, that is why everywhere Kapila Deva is stating Daivachodhitat. Why he is saying how this is happening? This is because everything is emanating from Krishna, therefore all this is happening. Mattah sarvam pravartate. So when a devotee sees some chemical reaction happening or something coming into existence, immediately he says, oh, behind this there is Krishna's hand, Daivachodhitat. That is what is causing this creation to happen. So when we understand that how Krishna's hand is there behind everything, Krishna's will is there, what happens? Then we decide, oh, I don't want to be part of this material world. I want to take shelter of Krishna's divine energy. Mahatmanastu maam partha daivim prakritim ashritaha bhajanti ananya manaso jnatva bhutadim avyayam. Oh, Krishna is the Adi. Krishna is the source of everything. So therefore, what should I do? Bhajanti ananya manaso. Bhajanti ananya manaso. How? Mahatmanastu daivim prakritim ashrita. Oh, Krishna is the source of everything. This is how Krishna is creating everything. Therefore, what I should do? Daivim prakritim ashrita. I should take shelter of his divine energy, of his Daivi Maya. Not his Mahamaya. Mahamaya is the energy within the material world. So let me take shelter of the Daivi energy of Krishna. Daivi Prakriti. Deva Maya, Yoga Maya. Let me take shelter of Yoga Maya. And if we take shelter of Yoga Maya, then what is the next concomitant action that will happen? Daivi Mahatmanastu Mayam Daivim Prakriti Ashritaha Bhajanti Ananya Manaso. We will render devotional service Ananya Manasaha without considering anything else. So Ananya Manasa means one way of understanding is that without considering one's sense gratification, without considering one's material benefits, one will engage in devotional service purely for the benefit of Krishna. Another way to understand Ananya Manasa is without taking shelter of anybody else other than Krishna. Not Devatas, not any of the material personalities, not even Vishnu, not even Narayana, only Krishna. Bhajanti Ananya Manaso. So, when we take shelter of the Daivi Prakriti of Krishna and engage in devotional service to Him, Bhajanti Ananya Manasa. We give up everything else. We have no other activity than pleasing Krishna. That is called Bhajanti Ananya Manasa. So, when we have no other work than serving Krishna, than serving Prabhupada's mission, then we are fully under Daivim Prakriti Ashritaha. We are fully under the shelter of Daivi Prakriti. We are under the shelter of Yoga Maya. And Tesham Satata Yuktana Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhyogam Tam Yena Mam Upayantite. When Ananya Manaso, when we engage in devotional service to Krishna without any giving up all other activities, then what happens? Tesham Satata Yuktanam, to such people who have no other engagement than constantly serving Krishna. Krishna says, Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhyogam. Krishna will give the intelligence how to go to Him, how to approach Him, how to achieve His shelter. So, our direction, our intelligence comes from Krishna, how to achieve Him. And that intelligence Krishna gives, Bhajatam Priti Purvakam, how to engage in loving devotional service also Krishna will teach. He will give us the intelligence. So everything is done by Krishna. Prabhupada gives the example, Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama are there here, Gaurnita are there, Prabhupada himself is there on the altar. Every day we dress them, we feed them, and we have arati for them. Deity worship happens every day. So, is the Lord, is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is He incapable of dressing Himself? We have to go and dress Him. He cannot dress Himself. We have to cook for Him. He cannot cook for Himself. No, the Lord, He is giving us the intelligence how to dress Him. It is not with our intelligence that we are dressing Him. Krishna gives us the intelligence how to cook for Him. It's not our own intelligence that is making us cook. So Krishna only is eventually doing everything. Krishna is giving us intelligence how to dress Him, and He is receiving our service. So we have a desire to serve Krishna by dressing Him. We have a desire to serve Krishna by feeding Him. So Krishna gives us the intelligence, and He takes the Archa Murti, Archa Vigraha form, and He accepts our service. So Krishna only is dressing Himself. Krishna only is feeding Himself. Krishna only is cooking for Himself. May not be directly, but He is doing everything. Just like Daivachoditat, Rupamatrat, Vikurvana, Tejaso, Daivachoditat. It's not that Krishna has to do everything directly. He is giving the intelligence by which things are happening. So Krishna only is doing everything. And we, Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Murvakam Dadami Buddhyogam. That buddhi, that intelligence to how to serve Krishna is coming from Krishna only. See His mercy, see His compassion. So therefore, when a devotee hears all these descriptions of how the creation has come about, there is no doubt in his mind. No. Science says that hydrogen and oxygen mixed together are water formed, and here it is saying Rupamatrat Vikurvana, Tejaso Daivachoditat, Rasamatra Mabhut, Tasmad Ambaha. How is this happening? That's not how science describes. Science has one way of describing it, which is a very narrow view. Whereas when a devotee sees all this is happening by Daivachoditat, by divine arrangement. And that divine arrangement is Krishna's will to give all the living entities an opportunity to engage in fulfilling our material desires. That is also Krishna's compassion. He only is giving us free will. And he is making all this arrangement of material manifestation, the different senses like the sense of taste and the tongue to actually experience taste. And there is an arrangement of saliva within the mouth so that you can taste. All arrangement Krishna has made and given us. We have a desire to taste different kinds of stuff. So Krishna has given different kinds of tastes also. Kashayo, Maduras, Tiktaha, Katvam, La. Originally, the original taste is one. Raso, Gandha, Prithivyam, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. There is one original smell and one original taste. So, but that is getting transformed, that single original taste is getting transformed into 6 different types: astringent, sweet, bitter, pungent, sour and salty. So that we can experience varieties of taste and we can enjoy. And to experience that taste, water is needed. So within the mouth itself, inbuilt, automatically mouth produces saliva. So that arrangement is also inbuilt. You don't have to every time mix water in the food and then take it. Already water is there within the mouth. See, all entire, it is a complete unit in itself for undergoing different experiences. So you put a certain kind of food, immediately you experience salty taste. Another kind of food you put in the mouth, immediately sour taste is there. Another kind of food you put in the mouth, immediately sweet taste is there. All kinds of tastes you can experience. So why Krishna is created? Because he respects our free will. Krishna only has given us the free will. And Krishna is so kind, he does not say, oh, you are misusing your free will, you are not serving me, I'll take back the free will. No. Once Krishna has given something, he will not take it back. Okay, no problem. You keep it. If you want to misuse it, no problem. I'll give you all facility to misuse. And so much arrangement, complex arrangement Krishna is making. Rupamatra, Vikurvana, Tejaso, Daivachodita, Rasamatra Mabhut Tasmad, Ambo Jihvarasagraha. Everything. Taste is also given. 6 different kinds of tastes are given. There is an organ of the tongue to taste it also, and there is an arrangement of water so that you can experience the taste. Everything Krishna has made and given us. Because Krishna has given us the free will and he respects our free will. So a devotee, when he sees all this, oh, Krishna is so kind. He is making so much arrangement simply because he is respecting my free will. So let me not misuse my free will. Let me engage it in Krishna's service. So therefore, these descriptions are given to enhance our faith in Krishna and Krishna's words. When Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattaha sarvam pravartate, how exactly he is the source of everything and how everything is emanating from me, from Krishna, that is being described in the Bhagavatam, by which our faith and conviction in Krishna will get enhanced. And faith and conviction enhances, our love for Krishna will enhance. Our love for Krishna enhances, ananya manaso bhajanti. We will come to the point of unmotivated, uninterrupted, unmixed, unadulterated devotional service to Krishna. And by doing that, what happens? That bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yaschasma tattvataha. We'll be able to understand Krishna better and better. And when we understand Krishna better and better, what happens? Tato mam tattvato jnatva visataye tadanantaram. We will be able to achieve the spiritual world and get free from the distresses of repeated birth, death, disease and old age. So these are some of the things which you can learn from today's verse. If anybody has anything to ask, most welcome.
If Krishna given opportunities to someone to
Krishna did?
just Krishna given opportunity to someone to perform devotional service, and by the mercy of Prabhupada he understood about the something. But if he deliberately misuse that opportunity and not understand the correct position of Guru and Krishna, so will the Krishna again give him opportunity to misuse, or if he can be sent to the punishment is hellish planet also. So what will the faith of that person?
The process uh, of correction, reformation. This material world is a place of reformation. If you, the equivalent comparison, if you see in the material world, there is a prison, there is a jail in which criminals are put in. So when criminals are convicted, even the gravest crime if somebody commits, he'll be given maximum life sentence. Life sentence also doesn't mean till he dies he has to be there. 14 years, after 14 years he will get released. So for every reformation, for every punishment, there is a certain term. It is not permanent. So similarly, the purpose of creation of this whole material world is reformation. So Krishna will keep on giving opportunities for us to reform ourselves. Only thing is the time that will get involved. If we misuse our free will and go to some hellish planet, then from there to finish our term of punishment there, then come to the earth and take birth in some animal species, then slowly, gradually evolve and finally come to the human form of life, so much time will go. But eventually, again, that opportunity will be given. So living entities are from time immemorial. We have been getting varieties of opportunities. Many times we have got the human form of life. Many times we have even got Brahma's body. And many times we have got the body of a worm in the stool also. All these different kinds of bodies we are getting and going through different lives. So the idea is eventually take the person through the whole cycle, bring him back to the human form, again give him an opportunity. Again he misuses, again fall down, again gradually evolve through different animal species, finally again come to the human form. Like this it will go until we come to a stage where we realize our mistake, reform ourselves and go back to Godhead. So nobody is no living entity is permanently discarded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No. Because ultimately, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham bija prada pita sarva yonishu kaunteya. Krishna says, all of you are my children. Okay, some of you are rebellious, some of you don't want to follow me. So I will punish you a little bit and reform you and then take you back. So Krishna's purpose is not to condemn us to hell eternally. No. Idea is to reform us and bring us back to our proper consciousness. So therefore, when that is the purpose, again and again opportunities will be given. But the point is, if you commit grave offenses, for you to again get the human form of life once more, it will take a very long time. So why you should take that risk? We should not take that risk. Is that clear? Anybody else? Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So we were talking about how the laws of nature pervaded in the universe. So we see whatever the Lord's will only is carried through the laws of nature. So can we say in a way that the Lord is all pervaded in that way? As Holy Name also emanates His will. He is a Chinmaya Shakti, Chinmaya Nama, who is having his own will. One who aligns his will, one can, he gets surrendered and he is liberated. So same way here also there is a will. The will of the Lord is carried through the nature.
Yeah.
Even Lord Rama changed the laws of nature.
Yeah.
So can we say that in this way the Lord is all pervaded everywhere throughout the cosmos?
The Lord is pervading itaratasto abhijnaha. The Lord is indirectly as well as directly pervading everything. Indirectly, Krishna tells also in the Bhagavad Gita that, what is that? He says, I pervaded in my unmanifest form. Maya tatamidam sarvam avyakta murtina. So by his energies, he is pervading the entire material universe. Plus personally also, sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishtaha. Krishna is saying, one side Krishna is saying that Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina. I pervaded this entire universe in my impersonal form. That means Krishna's energy has pervaded everywhere. Simultaneously, Krishna is saying, Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastam. Krishna has entered into the heart of each and every living entity as well as into each and every atom. So directly, indirectly, itaratascha artheshu abhijnaha swarat. So the Lord is both directly and indirectly pervading this universe. Through his energies, he is indirectly pervading, plus personally also he is pervading, both ways. Is that okay? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So if someone has come to Prabhupada, he has chanted Hare Krishna mantra for some time, he has performed some devotional service, and after some time, due to some circumstances, he has given up the devotional service. Like that. So, because in Bhagavad Gita we are seeing, so yogi who practices for some time, like he will be taken birth in Suchinam Srimatam Gehe.
Yes.
So like that. So is a human form of life guaranteed for that soul in the very next life, or is it in the near future maybe the human form of life is guaranteed? Like we see in the case of Bharat Maharaj,
Yeah.
like where he has performed devotional service and fallen because he got attachment for a deer. So next life he immediately did not get again a human form of life because he thought of the deer at the time.
Yeah.
Of death. So is the human form guaranteed or it's not guaranteed?
It's not essential that you have to get the human form of life only. The point is that Krishna, the principle you have to understand in the Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Sanjayate, Krishna says. In the previous verse to that, Krishna spoke about, he goes to the heavenly planets. So Prabhupada explains those two verses. One is a yogi who practices Ashtanga Yoga for a brief period of time, and then he falls down, Yoga Brashta. He will go to the heavenly planet, enjoy there for many thousands of years, and then he will come back again to this material earth. Second kind of yogi who performs Ashtanga Yoga for a long period of time and then falls down. He will take birth, Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe. He will take birth either in an affluent family or in a family of pure Vaishnavas, wherein again he will get an opportunity to perform devotional service. And then Krishna says, after many, many births, after a few verses, if you take the 6th chapter, I'll pull out that verse. 41 is where he says, Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashvati hi samaha. That means the unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment in the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or in a family of rich aristocrats. So, and then, or he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists. Athava yoginameva kule bhavati dhimatam, who are surely great in wisdom. Verily, such a birth is rare in this world. That is for people who are, for a yogi who has fallen after a long practice. And then, in verse 45, Krishna again says, Prayatnad yatamanastu yogi samshuddha kilbisha aneka janma samsiddhas tato yati param gating. After many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. So these verses 40, 41 and 42 are referring to Ashtanga yogis. When it comes to Bhakti yogis, Krishna later says, in the 9th chapter, Krishna says that towards the end, verse number 31, 30 and 31. Abhichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak. One who renders devotional service, even if one commits the most abominable actions, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. And then, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat chantim nigacchati. Quickly he becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. So for an Ashtanga yogi, he will take bahu janma. He will take many births to finally perfect himself. Whereas for a Bhakti yogi, even if he falls away, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma, quickly he will come back. So in the case of Bharat Maharaj, what happened? He fell down so badly, he went into animal life. But aneka janma, he did not take many, many births to again come back to his proper position. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Very quickly, very next life, he again became properly situated. So that's because he performed devotional service. So if somebody performs devotional service and then falls away, he will come back to the path very quickly. Maybe one birth, maybe 2 births maximum. Within that, he will again come back to the original path and perfect himself. That assurance is not there on other paths. Other paths, you will take bahu janma, aneka janma, many, many births you have to take to finally come to perfection. So that's the difference between Bhakti Yoga and other yoga processes. Is that clear? So in the case of Bharat Maharaj, one life he had to take as an animal. Next life, again perfected, gone back to Godhead. Over. So, Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Within 2 births, he finished his activity. Perfected his life. That Ashtanga Yogi, you cannot say that. He falls down, even if he has practiced Ashtanga Yoga for many, many years. Thousands of years he has practiced it. And then he falls down. He will take birth. Yoginam Apikule. He will take birth in a very highly elevated yogi family. And then Paurvadehikam, he will again revive his original yoga practice. And then Aneka Janma Abhyasa, again he will, for many lives, he has to again continue the process. Then finally he will come to the point of perfection. So this is the difference. So that is why the example of Bharat Maharaj is given to illustrate to us Abhijayat, Kshipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Very quickly, a devotee who falls away very quickly, maximum 1 or 2 lifetimes, he will come back to the original path and he will perfect his life. Okay? We'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.